Hey, Geek Show Patreon subscribers, it's Lee.
And you've been listening to the show for the last couple of weeks. You've been hearing me talk about the Marvel Crisis Protocol game from Atomic Mass Games. Quite a bit, actually. And a number of you have written in or messaged us to ask if you could actually take a look and see what the figures look like, especially considering that, well, the podcast medium doesn't exactly show you what we're looking at. So I thought I'd give you a look at what's going on my paint match. Just finished up the core box figures, which includes Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow, Captain Marvel, Spider-Man, Ultron, Dr. Octopus, the Red Skull, Crossbones, and Baron Zemo. And Atomic Mass Games has also released 2 new supplement boxes, which come with the Incredible Hulk and, of course, my favorite Marvel character of all time, MODOK. I just love MODOK. Like, I'm stupid in love with MODOK. So let's take a look at the different figures so you can see how cool these really are. They're a multi-part model kit. So when you get them, you have to put them together like a model kit. Here you see Captain America all painted up and assembled. Just a fantastic looking figure. He comes in about 7 or 8 pieces, and once you get them all put together, this is how he looks. And they're 40 millimeter figures, so they're a little bit taller than your standard miniature game figures, which are usually about 28 millimeters. I'll show you a comparison here. And also, unlike a lot of the miniature games out there, these come with textured bases. You can tell my dog's super excited about those too. So that's Cap. You're going to take a look at Iron Man now. So just really super cool figure, and it's got some nice dynamic posing going on. The little OSL, that's Origin Light Source or painting on him so that you can see his glowing eyes and his repulsors. Here's Black Widow, and I can show you a pretty good comparison with her at 40 millimeters compared to a 28 millimeter Black Widow figure. This is a HeroClix Black Widow. And you can see there's just a pretty sizable difference in the height of the figures. And the Atomic Mass figure is really nicely molded too, or modeled. Captain Marvel, this is one of my favorite figures in the core box set. She's just really, really dynamic. Looks like she's about ready to kick like all sorts of Skrull ass. And gotta love that. And one of the other things I really, really like about these Atomic Mass games is that while the characters are really dynamic and cool looking, there's nothing about them that's like hypersexualized. So you don't have to worry about, alienating 52% of the planet when you're looking at your figures. So Spider-Man, really cool dynamic figure too. I've seen some people actually assemble Spider-Man so that he's like on a lamppost or on a girder or just hanging out on a section of wall. But still, pretty dynamic, neat looking figure. This is the Incredible Hulk. He's a separate figure from the main box set. So if you want to pick Hulk up, he's just going to set you back another $25 to $30, depending on the store you pick him up at. Just a little secret hint. If you go to stores like Shiv Games here in Salt Lake City, Utah, they tend to be under retail. So they'll save you some price, a little bit of money in the process. So great looking figure. And as you can see, compared to like Iron Man, he's just gigantic and super impressive figure. So getting into the bad guys, you've got Red Skull. He leads the Cabal, and he just looks super imposing. He's got his Infinity Stone gauntlet, or not his gauntlet, his Cosmic Cube, so he's ready to wreak all kind of havoc on the game board. He can actually, in the game, he plays with time, which is really kind of cool. So he can activate characters that have already activated and done what they're supposed to do, and just bring them back into play. So it's pretty neat. Baron Zemo, one of my least favorite characters in the Marvel Comics pantheon, but he plays really cool in this game. So, big hats off to Atomic Mass Games for making a character that I've never really considered all that neat to be, really cool and really fun to play in game. Crossbones, you bring Crossbones in to fight with Captain America or Black Widow. This guy is your short range fighter. He gets in and just, beats the crap out of everybody he gets into contact with. Another really neat figure. He's very dynamic. I thought when I first saw him that he was just going to be kind of a static, bland pose, but he actually turned out pretty cool. And one of the bigger models in the core set is Dr. Octopus. All of his tentacles are multi-part, so you have to glue them all together separately. But he's really imposing, and even though he's not any bigger in size than the other characters in the core set, they put him on the larger base here which I think actually does a good job of protecting these tentacles from getting knocked around when you're playing the game. The biggest model in the core set is Ultron. Ultron actually has a pretty intimidating dynamic in-game where he can actually be taken completely out of action by another player, and sometimes he can come right back onto the table, like just like seriously fully charged and ready to kick ass. So Ultron's a lot of fun in the game. He's got that whole metallic menace thing going on, and I kind of love it. Now, my absolute favorite figure that they've released so far, until we get into X-Men, is MODOK, the mental organism designed only for killing. MODOK here I painted a couple of different ways. I did a Zenithal highlight. If you know anything about miniature painting, you'll understand that I painted the whole miniature black, and then from an angle did kind of a Zenith highlight in white spray paint, and then went through and did some metallic coats to get that, to get his floating chair, kind of that cool metallic yellow. This MODOK sculpt is just so cool. I mean, he's ready to lay down some brain bolts and get revenge for being turned into a giant floating baby head with a fart chair. Well, that's a look at the Marvel Crisis Protocol figures from Atomic Mass Games. And of course, want to thank you all for subscribing to our Patreon account. We'll keep bringing you some of this exclusive content and so much more. Hey, Geek Show, have a great one.